Action! Kia ora, brothers. What's up? It's a director. Man. See if I can get our chat up on here, guys. Hang on one second. Yeah, I'm pretty torn up right now, dudes. Of course, by now, I'm sure a lot of you guys heard the news that, yeah, Vincent Jackson unfortunately moved on today, which is really, yeah, I see you there, Jason. Marty Schottenheimer just, what, a few days ago, and now Vincent Jackson. Yeah, this one's tough, man. This one's tough for me. Marty and Vincent, rest in peace. I'll be honest, I had like a different video planned for today, and I was jumping out of the shower, and I saw the news of Vincent, and it sucks. It hit pretty hard, and I felt like a lot of Chargers fans probably feel the same way, so I felt like it was probably more appropriate for me to come on here today and just kind of remember him a little bit, you know, just jab a little bit about what we remember most about Vincent and what he brought to the San Diego Chargers back in the day, and read some of your guys' comments and just kind of, you know, be present during something like this. It's definitely very challenging for a lot of Chargers fans at this time. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, guys, I'm pretty torn up about it. But when I first became a Chargers fan back in the mid 2000s, Vincent Jackson was like my boy. Of course, Danny Tomlinson and Phillip Rivers and Antonio Gates and those guys too, you know. But Vincent Jackson was one of my all-time favorites. As a matter of fact, if you guys watch any of my Madden Ultimate Team content, I was pushing so hard for Vincent Jackson to come into the game for the Chargers because, man, he was one of my favorites, and we needed a receiver so bad. And I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say this, but like I went to EA in Orlando to give some feedback and stuff on the game and to kind of help test it out, and it was part of a Game Changers program. And there's a few players that I was pushing really hard from EA. I was like, come on, man, we need to get them in the game. Like, please. I want to see Junior Seau, and I want to see LaDainian Tomlinson, you know, come back and eventually, you know, and one of them definitely was Vincent Jackson. I was pushing really hard for Vincent Jackson. And eventually we did, you know, in this year's Madden, get all those players, which was awesome. Whether or not I had anything to do with it is probably irrelevant. Like, I was so happy to have VJax back in the game. Because, again, it was just kind of like reliving those moments back from when I was a teenager, watching Phillip Rivers to Vincent Jackson every Sunday. And it was a lot of fun, man. It was a lot of fun every time we saw VJax out there on the field. And so today was like, I don't know, like sometimes, you know, things happen. Like when Marty passed, it was super sad, and it's like, you know, another member of your childhood, and, you know, of course we give our thoughts and our prayers to their families. They're sure as heck going through a lot harder time than we are. But for me, it was like a part of my childhood. You know what I mean? Like, you see that every once in a while, and it sucks. It's sad. And for someone like Vincent Jackson, who is so young too, holy cow, only 38 years old, it's especially tragic. So I wanted to come on here today and just kind of like remember him a little bit. I normally don't watch like film or anything on this channel because, of course, there's guidelines to being a YouTuber and showing, you know, stuff like that. But we're gonna watch some tape today and just kind of reminisce of some of his favorite or some of his best plays, both as a Charger and a Buccaneer, and just have some fun with it and talk with you guys a little bit, see how you guys are doing, how you're feeling. Because yeah, for me, it's definitely been a tough one, very tough one. So I'm going to read some of your guys' responses in here, and if you guys need some, like, jumping off point, like, just tell me some of your favorite, you know, plays, favorite memory scenarios, games of Vincent Jackson, and we'll just kind of remember together. Dyson says, it's so sad to see a Charger great pass at such a young age. Yeah, 38. It's no one should go that young. For real. Showtime says we all had memorable moments watching this man play in San Diego. Rip VJ, man. And it says, sad face. Yeah. Hugo says, one of my favorite memories was his game-winning touchdown against the Giants. Yeah. I mean, I was quite young. When Vincent Jackson was playing. I remember a lot of plays. I'm kind of looking forward. I was looking up some Vincent Jackson highlights and see if it might spark, some nostalgia here a little bit. And so we're going to watch that here together in just a second. I'm going to keep the sound off just in case, and we'll listen to music and just kind of talk through it. Rip Marty as well. Yeah, Rip Marty as well. It's been a tough week or so for Chargers fans. Legit shock. He was such an icon for me growing up. Yeah. Justin, we have no idea how he passed it this time. We just know that it was confirmed in Tampa. He was in Tampa when it happened, and that's really all we have to go off on. I'm kind of sick to my stomach too, man, that I never picked up that Vincent Jackson jersey. When I was younger, times are tough. We didn't have a lot of money, and I remember mowing lawns to get my first jersey, who ended up being Phillip Rivers, and eventually I was only able to afford, a couple more. I got a Antonio Gates jersey and a Junior Seau, which unfortunately got torn up during a turkey bowl, so I had to throw it out, unfortunately, but I've replaced it since then. And the other guy I really wanted was Vincent Jackson. Definitely Vincent Jackson. Oh, I mean, of course I had a LaDainian Tomlinson too, can't forget LT. But today I decided, I was real torn up about it. I went and bought my first one. It's on its way. It's in the mail. I'm very excited to see it. I'm kicking myself for not getting one earlier, especially to wear today. But, we'll have a Vincent Jackson jersey for our next VJax gameplay and stuff in Madden Ultimate Team. Excuse me, guys. I'm just I'm kind of in shock a little bit still. It happened, just moments ago, and it's quite jarring. Hugo says, I've been watching the Bolts since Seau entered the league. Yeah, longtime fan, man. Losing him, Marty, VJax, it hurts big time. Yeah, it kind of does remind me a little bit of when we lost Junior. I mean, Junior was a childhood hero, I looked up to him so much. So I remember where I was when Junior passed, and it was very sad. I remember, I mean, I guess I can be an emotional guy. I remember crying pretty hard when Junior went. And this, definitely isn't any easier. It's watching, somebody that you used to follow and admire, taken too soon. Gilbert says, I'm 13 years old, man. I wish I could have watched him growing up. Well, yeah, we'll watch some highlights together, Gilbert. Chargers fans of all age. This is a name that, at one point or another, you're going to run through because of, how much he contributed to the team back in the mid-2000s, and you never know. Lil Bud says concussion related. We have no clue what happened, man. All we know is that it was confirmed. Rip Jackson, man, one of my favorite players of all time. Yeah, Matthew. That's kind of again, I had another video that I was getting ready to do. I was jumping out of the shower, getting my notes ready and everything. When I saw the news, I was just I think we just all kind of need to be here, especially anybody that's especially torn up about it. Just kind of, talk it out a little bit. This is definitely not something that I had planned on as a YouTuber. You never really think about stuff like this, and I'm glad that we have a place to talk about it a little bit. But it's definitely really sad. Vincent Jackson was so underrated. Yeah, I mean, as a player, I guess I was such a new football fan back then. As a lot of you guys know, I've talked about this several times. I didn't really get into football until my teen years because, of course, I come from two different immigrant families that both don't watch the NFL. I was the first one. And anyway, so all of the behind the scenes stuff I was still getting really fresh into. I was just there on Sundays, watching LT and VJax and Phillip Rivers and Gates, the golden years of the Chargers. And I didn't understand any the background noise of the NFL yet. And knowing now, as someone who's been closely following the NFL for a long time, yeah, Vincent Jackson, I guess, flew under the radar as one of the top tier wide receivers of his time, which is crazy. I mean, who else was playing back then that was usurping him? I mean, there's definitely been a lot of good football players. I think back then, we're still talking like Randy Moss and Larry Fitzgerald definitely was balling out back then. But maybe VJax flew under the radar a little bit. And yeah, there was a little drama, here and there. I remember the season that he held out, and I was like really anxious. And then of course he eventually, left to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But it was kind of one of those situations where I was like, okay, I want to see him play. It sucks that it's not with the Chargers, but I'm glad that, he's finding success at Tampa Bay, and, it was a lot of fun. I can definitely still hear the guys calling the game saying touchdown Vincent Jackson. Yeah, Rivers to Jackson, touchdown Vincent Jackson. Those are some of my favorite plays, man. Again, I was so new to the sport that I just wanted to see that passing game go off. And of course, Danian Tomlinson gave me plenty to look at when it came to the run game. But I don't know. Vincent Jackson was just one of those players where you're like on the end of your seat every time, Rivers threw in his direction. You're like, oh my God. I mean, he was I would say you can compare him a little bit to Gilbert, especially since you're so young. Maybe a little bit of a more dynamic Mike Williams. Like, he was really good at those 50-50 balls, but he was also very athletic and dynamic. And he was just a very exciting, wide receiver for the Chargers, which the Chargers, I would say, especially at that time, I don't know if we were very much known for our wide receivers as much, right? Like, at that time, I think it was during that transition of Keenan and Cardell, and then Vincent Jackson. I think he came in right after Keenan and Cardell. Of course, one of the all-time greats as well, was moving on. And, I mean, back then we had Malcolm Floyd and like a flurry of other guys. It's hard to remember all. I remember, who was that guy from the Broncos? Not Holiday, the other, Royal, Eddie Royal and stuff like that too. Like, those kinds of names were all over the roster for years. But Vincent Jackson was constantly that guy standing out. Malcolm Floyd a lot too. M80, if you guys remember. Yeah, we had Sproles back then too. I mean, the Chargers had like a very, very impressive team in the mid-2000s for sure. But Vincent Jackson was like my guy when it came to receiver. I loved M80 as well a lot too, but Vincent Jackson was just was that guy. Yeah. Director, I can show support, as I know you're a huge Chargers fan, and the loss of life is never a good thing. Rip to the Go Jackson. Thank you, Zombie Smith. I appreciate it. D Sarge, again, I'll say this throughout the stream. We have no idea. As far as I know right now, we don't know what happened. We just know that it was confirmed in Tampa. He was in Tampa. That's the only thing that we really know. Yeah, he did pass away. I hate, especially if you guys are hearing it from me first, I hate, the thought of that, because you guys are probably getting hit with all those emotions that I did when I first saw the news on Twitter right now. But I'm glad that we can all kind of like be together as Chargers fans to say something and to remember him. Yeah, at age 38 there, Hugo. Very, very, very sad. First call comes Stadium, then Marty. Yeah, and now VJax. It's tough, man. We're losing a lot of amazing people from the golden years of the Chargers this week. Yeah, in a hotel there, Lil. Again, we don't know what happened, but it's been pretty tragic. Hardwick holding down center for those years with Jackson. Yeah, I mean, back then, dude, like, I eventually, like today, I was really sad that, I didn't have the VJax jersey. So, of course, I bought one. It should be here on Monday next week. But I think I'm going to start picking up jerseys from all my favorite players back in the day. There was a time where I moved and I lost a lot of my jerseys, which I was really sad about. But there are a lot of, like, childhood hero jerseys that I still don't have, like Nick Hardwick. Vincent Jackson was on that list. We're going to get him. I think I do want a Malcolm Floyd eventually. I want a Cromartie jersey really bad. I have Case, and I also need to get Dunbar. I liked him too. There's a lot of players that I think from in my youth that I would like to get. And I wouldn't fit into those jerseys anymore anyway. I was a slim medium back then. Now we're getting to that husky extra large jersey range. So I think it's time to pick up all those greats and just kind of remember them that way. Maybe even pick up a couple of the new style jerseys with their names. I was thinking of getting a new one with Junior Seau, maybe one for LaDainian Tomlinson as well. I think LT in this style, and then Junior Seau in the powder blue would be kind of cool. Or I think even a white would be kind of cool. But yeah, Dillman and Lorenzo Neal and what was his name? Tolbert. Tolbert was amazing too. Quentin Jammer. Yeah, Quentin. Sean Phillips. Yeah, I have a Sean Merriman jersey. I think I need to get a new one. of that one too. I remember I was at a thrift store and I found it was way too big. It was like a 5XL or something, but I was like, I gotta have it. I need to get a new one. Yeah, Kellen Winslow for sure too. Edwards, and yeah, that was a great unit back then, man. I do have a Ryan Matthews jersey. I think I bought it when he was drafted, and he was great. It's unfortunate that he couldn't stay healthy. Turner, yeah, Turner, dude, super underrated. Went on to the Falcons, have a crazy good career. Tolbert was underrated, yeah, and then Tolbert went to the Panthers, and holy cow, he still had a lot in him. Danny Woodhead, Dan Fouts, Fred Dean, yeah. Well, guys, and Sproles. I do have a Sproles jersey from back in the day. It's so small in me now. My wife wears it more than I do. I can't wear it. Physically, I think I would damage it, so my wife wears it all the time. She likes that one a lot too. Yeah, Eddie Royal. Yeah, that's what we're talking about before. He was part of that unit for a while. Bought a Cromartie jersey. He got traded a week later. Hey, man, you know, Cromartie had so many different teams, but where did it all start, bro? San Diego, right? King Dunlap. Wow, you guys are throwing me back. They're giving me a blast from the past here. It's a shame the Chargers never made it to the Super Bowl. Tom. Eric Weddle, yeah, Eric Weddle. I need to get an updated jersey of him too. He was my favorite players back then. I do have a signed banner. You guys, that banner right there, it is signed. I had him sign it at a event out here, and he's a really cool guy. Yeah, we were so loaded. Anyway, guys, I do want to watch some highlights of Vincent Jackson. Again, this is something I normally don't do. You're kind of walking those lines, but today, you know, it's not about the YouTube grind so much as it's about paying respect to an idol for a lot of Chargers fans, you know, someone we all looked up to. I mean, even if it's just like you were there every Sunday, you were present, like he was kind of a part of your life in a way, right? I've never physically met V-Jax, you know, I've never physically shook hands with him. I didn't know him on a personal level, but like you kind of feel like you do when you watch someone every single week. And you know, like especially for me in the time that I grew up, like he was part of that, like, I don't know, the fun time. I liked high school. I enjoyed high school, and it was very like independent, free, you know, the fun days. And Vince Jackson was definitely part of that. Brandon Flowers too, yeah. Brandon Flowers came in real late for us, right? Rodney Harrison. Get on my hip, don't. Yeah, Lorenzo Neal to LT, man, back in the day. All right, guys, let me see if I got everything set up here. Apologize if it's like I haven't really looked at this format in a minute. Okay, so we look good here. There's Vincent Jackson. Let me see if we're missing anything here. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna keep the audio off because it's like another song, I think. But I'll keep my music on, and we can just kind of watch some of the highlights of Vincent Jackson back in the day, and then we'll take a few more comments and bounce out of here. We will be seeing highlights of him as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer too, as well, man. Yeah, Wes Chandler way back in the day. I'll keep reading your comments as we're watching, man. Vincent Jackson, man, number 83. Holy cow, that Chargers unit back then, right? Back when we were all super hype about Phillip Rivers. There goes V-Jax. That's the kind of plays I'm talking about, man. Like, he does remind me of Mike Williams a little bit, but just so much more athletic. There's Phillip Rivers going deep. Oh, that kind of speed too, man. I don't know. Remember, dudes, Vincent Jackson's something like 6'4" or 6'5". Like, he was one of those beasts back then, dude. He could come up with the 50-50s. He had the speed, the length, the catch radius. Look, like butt naked right there. Gets back up from the 10-yard line, breaks the tackle, and into the end zone, San Diego Chargers. How crazy is that? How crazy. It's so hard to cover. And at that size, too. Yeah, he was 6'5". Absolutely. Yeah, Hugo, 6'5". Such a monster. Phillip Rivers, they're in the red zone here. That's where he was most deadly, too. Look at that, getting open underneath. Beating his coverage over the middle. Beautiful. Stop and go right there, man. Nice adjustment over the... So good, man. I'm sure Phillip Rivers is torn up today, too. Like, this was his guy. Like, look at that. Look at that. Reaches over the pylon. Touchdown. San Diego Chargers. How crazy. So fun to have him on a fantasy team. Yeah, man. I think I had him on my fantasy team. I didn't start playing fantasy until later. But when he was on the Bucks, I definitely drafted him a couple of times. Phillip Rivers going deep. This is the kind of catches you love to see. Oh, man. Contested catch. V-Jax does it again. Look at that. Triple covered. Goes into the end zone. Touchdown. San Diego Chargers. Vincent Jackson. Comes Phillip Rivers again with another deep ball. Again, double cover, doesn't matter. Speed. Dynamic. Like, just look at that. The separation, too, at the last second. You saw that all the time. Like, he was able to accelerate into open space beautifully. And again, there's a safety. There's a corner. Doesn't matter. Huge yardage for Vincent Jackson. Phillip Rivers again to the sideline, man. He takes it all the way to the 20-yard line. This is why you held your breath every time. Look at that stop and go, man. That stutter step. Oh, man. I mean, I love Mike Williams, but Mike Williams could never. That's why I loved watching VJax every week, man. Holy cow. Holy cow. Phillip Rivers looking. Everybody hold your breath. There's Vincent Jackson. Coverage stumbles. Toe tap on the sideline. First down, Vincent. Look at that control. Look at that control, man. Insane. Again, we're in the red zone. Vincent Jackson, he's got the moves, man. He's got the route running to get open. And even if he's not open, man, he's going to throw his body in front. That's something that's reminiscent of Mike Will a little bit, right? He kind of throws his body in front of his defender. I think VJax did that with more control. Definitely. In the middle of the field, there's Vincent Jackson. Oh, this is in the Pro Bowl. I was wondering why it was red. I thought he might be in the Bucs already, but in the Pro Bowl, still making plays. Again, in the Pro Bowl, first down. Man, dude, VJax really went off in the Pro Bowl. I'm wondering if I even watched this game. I'm sure I did. There you go, man. Contested catches, secure hands. Insane. And he just wouldn't go down. Such a tough player. Here we go. Finally, we're to the Buccaneers era. Vincent Jackson, of course, at this time, there was a little bit of drama. I think there was a holdout. And he eventually got like a 5-year deal from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I think a lot of people were excited. I don't know if everyone was like, he's a true wide receiver one at the time. I would have said so. And he still saw a lot of success in Tampa Bay. Goes up and gets it, man. That catch radius, insane. Wish he ended his career at the Bolts. Me too, Hugo. But man, did he provide a lot of memories while we were all watching him as a San Diego Charger. Extends his body out. Yeah, that kind of stuff was always really fun to watch. There he goes. Throws it up. Again, double coverage. Safety's coming down on him. He's going to throw his body right in front of it and come down with the first down every time. Look at that, man. The control, insane. Wish I didn't see... yeah, I didn't see the Giants game either. Rip. I mean, if we had a full career thing, this video would be super long. Maybe they do go back to more Chargers highlights. But, we definitely got a really good sample size. So if you guys didn't have the pleasure of watching him play either in Tampa Bay or San Diego, this is definitely a good sample size of what it was like tuning in on Sundays and watching Phillip Rivers and Vincent Jackson. I don't remember who the quarterback was at the time with Tampa Bay, but he saw a lot of success out there too. Phillip Rivers plans to retire Charger. Yeah, he does. Santana, yeah, we're sitting here watching some highlights of Vincent Jackson, just kind of paying respect, you know, very sad today. He moved on, and we're all remembering the kind of player he was, man. VJax was super fast. Yeah, for his size, he was insanely fast. Obviously not the fastest wide receiver by any margin, but for his size, man, could that guy move. Open, corner, touchdown, insane. Nice to see him spanking the Raiders a little bit post San Diego days, too. I'm sure he liked that. Look at that, man. In open space, gets away. Yeah, I mean, that speed is deceptive. Definitely deceptive. Moved like Calvin. Yeah, he did. Kind of like Darren Waller. A little bit. Yeah, a little bit. He's so much more athletic than you would think because of his size. You would expect somebody of that length to maybe have a little bit more of a more awkward step, but he was as fast as the rest of them, man, there. Those were the kind of plays I remember so much, too. There would be 2 or 3 defenders, and he'd go up, and he'd just steal it. He would steal those passes, man. Insane. Again, against the Raiders. Look at that, man. That route. Holy cow. In and out. Breaks his coverage. Touchdown. There we got the RPO. He's open. Man, look how much how he makes himself available underneath. Incredible. I sure hope that in Madden Ultimate Team we get to see a card soon. I want to see him dominate with the Chargers team. That's kind of why I got into Madden Ultimate Team, was to kind of relive those moments of being a Chargers fan, especially back in the day. Find appreciation for Chargers that I maybe never watched. I loved Junior Seau. I only got to watch him in his later days. Even Keenan McCardell, I think he left the Chargers right before I became a fan. He's a Madden Ultimate Team. Lance Allworth, who I adore. I've watched so much of documentaries and stuff on him. He's in the game, and it's kind of, getting to some version of an experience watching him play, which is great. That's why a lot of people, look at that, man, that control, and he's gone, Vincent Jackson. That's why a lot of people ask me, like, why do you like Madden Ultimate Team? Well, it's because I have more of an appreciation for the names. It's kind of ridiculous, I know, but like, I'd rather lose with a team full of players that I love than win with like a whole bunch of super like souped up players that are, very expensive, whatever. I'm more in it for the nostalgia and experience. There we go, man. Back in the Pro Bowl, Vincent Jackson does his thing. Yeah, I love seeing the Raiders get destroyed. That spin move to avoid the tackle. Yeah, he had moves, man. He had ball carrier moves for days. Footwork's crazy. There's got to be way. I think the guy who put this together was a Tampa Bay fan, so I think he definitely included more time of him with Tampa, but we got a nice little sample size, and it's more about him as a player than where he was, really. One of the most versatile players in the league, yeah. Again, it's significant for fans, like I would say all fans, but for me, like, it was a time where it was exciting. Of course, the Chargers were so good back then too, but as a football fan, I was so new, and to see all of these plays and to see all these players, and Vincent Jackson stuck out, and of course all the great Chargers, and it's nuts. I hope the Chargers get another player like him in the future. I was excited about Mike Williams, but Mike Williams, again, he's just not as dynamic. Yeah, man. Closest comp to Vincent Jackson this year's draft is Trayvon Grimes, Florida, 6'4", 218. 4.53 40-yard dash. Crazy, man. Can't wait to start seeing some more statistics like that. Of course, they're not doing the combine this year, right? But they're going to do some sort of semblance of it. Yeah, we were pretty loaded back then. Crazy good player. I hope they show more San Diego. I don't think they are. But he made himself, look at that. Fade, corner of the end zone, comes up and gets it. Your cousin had a huge crush on him. Here you go. You're amazed by the highlights? Yeah. He was a lot of fun to play, or fun to watch. Again, the emotions during a Chargers game with Vincent Jackson was you were waiting for that big play, because he always had those big plays, right? Like every Sunday, it seemed like he had at least one where it was just like there's no way he's coming down with that, and then all of a sudden touchdown, or all of a sudden first down, double, triple covered, didn't matter. He was crazy. V-Jax, Keenan McCardell, Malcolm Floyd, Antonio Gates, LT, yeah, crazy years. Cause of death has not been confirmed. No, Hugo, it has not. There he goes again. Nice route, out route, and then he gets back up. Plows his way through a couple of players. He was so physical. He was so physical. Where are the Chargers highlights? We just watched him, man. I'm sure the guy who put this together was probably a Tampa fan, but it's more about him as a player rather than where he was. Of course, I would say his best years were definitely spent in San Diego. Oh my lord. Splits the coverage, comes down with the safety barreling over him. He still comes down with that. Insane. And then once again comes down with it. That's beautiful move by Vincent Jackson, man. Insane. What a player. You could not cover him. You could not cover him. He was too tall. His hands were too secure. Great route runner. Insane. Wish you could have watched him. Hey, man, you're watching him now. Watch more highlights. Like, one of my favorite things to do as a fan, especially early on, was watching tape of players I didn't get the chance to watch growing up, or the chance to watch before my time. And there's a couple of really amazing DVDs that I picked up, and one of them is the history of the San Diego Chargers. I learned so much about the team. I must have watched that DVD. I still watch it every once in a while, but I must have watched that DVD like at least a dozen, maybe more times. And it's like a 2-hour full program, but it was chock full of great stuff of the Chargers, you know, from their inception all the way out until I think around like 2009 or 2010 or something like that, maybe 2012. But I learned so much about the players that I didn't get to watch, and that's great, man. Have an appreciation for where your team came from, the players that made them great, guys like Vincent Jackson, even guys way back in the day like Lance Allworth, guys I didn't get to watch that were like within my lifetime but just before it. You know, like Dan Fouts and all those guys back then. The Super Bowl team in '94. Getting to watch them, it's crazy. Watched a tribute video earlier showing off his field work after his retirement. Yeah, dude, it's sad, but it's also great. Like he had a terrific career, and he was definitely a very unique player when it came to what he could do, the kind of athleticism and the height and build and versatility. Everything that he brought to the table as a player was incredible, and I'm glad that I got to watch him at some point, you know, as a fan. And it's super sad everything that happened today and over this last week, of course, with Marty and everybody. So very, very sad, but I'm glad that we got to watch a highlight of him, at least just balling out, man. What a player he was back then, and we'll continue to remember him. I'll continue to remember him. You know, I'll see 83 on my Madden Ultimate team all the time. I'll be making plays with VJax, and I can't wait to get my jersey. Again, I'm kicking myself so hard for not picking one up, but I think it opened up my mind to like get those players that you coveted growing up, because I mean, obviously back then you're mowing lawns and doing chores and there's not a lot of money. And I made it happen for Phil, I made it happen for LT, I made it happen for Gates, but VJax is one of those guys that just slipped through, and I got it now. It's on its way. I'll be wearing it next week, and hopefully we get a lot of gameplay of Vincent Jackson and stuff like that. But anyway, guys, I also did want to show you this. I made it just because, but I'll show you guys something I put together for Twitter. Honestly, I was making card art for. I can actually show that on Twitter here real quick. I was making card art for the Madden Ultimate Team, and it's kind of my way of saying, like, please somebody see this and be inspired and put it in the game, or let's rally the fans behind the idea of this player coming in. So I'll show you guys this real quick. So I had photoshopped this a couple of days ago. I think honestly earlier last week, and I was just kind of saying, yo, how sweet would it be to get another Vincent Jackson card? And this is a while ago. And it was so recent ago, actually, that I still had the assets. I was going through a lot of different photos and stuff of what would look good on his card art, and I just get excited about, you know, him in the game and everything. So I decided, since I had all of the assets open, that maybe I would Photoshop like a tribute of some sort. And so I put this together. Let me just find it real quick. Here it is. Photoshopped this for Twitter, just kind of as showing my, you know, appreciation as a fan, getting to see him play. I put that on Twitter, and it's kind of funny too. Not funny, but just kind of crazy. Like, I had all of these things open on my computer still from the previous card art, and I was like, man, we got to throw something together. Yeah, it's my thumbnail too. You guys will see it as the thumbnail. I made it for Twitter, and then I was like, you know what? Let's get on YouTube and just kind of bring all the fans together and pay our respects, and, you know, condolences, prayers, and thoughts to the family and everything like that. It's been a crazy day. Yeah, it's been crazy. Well, guys, I actually don't have a lot of time. My wife had to take off, and the little one is napping right now, and he's going to be up any second. So I just wanted to make sure I was out here talking to you guys, the fans. I know it's very, very difficult, holy cow, like, thing to process, especially if you don't have any fans to talk to, or friends that are fans, or just people who would understand, you know, like the significance of Vincent Jackson of the San Diego Chargers. Like, it's very hard to like talk about it with anybody. I went up and talked to my wife about it, and she was, of course, you know, sad that I was sad, but she didn't really understand like the same gravity of emotion that I was feeling. So I wanted to come on and make sure that if anyone else is feeling that you had, you know, the company to talk about it. And if you're watching this after the fact, just see the appreciation that all these people had for Vincent Jackson. And of course, as more news comes out, you know, we'll find out what happened exactly. But as a player, as a big part of my childhood, this was Vincent Jackson, his career highlights, both as a Buck and a Charger, and we photoshopped this. And if you guys want to show more respect or whatever, you know, definitely find some posts on Twitter, drop a comment here. If you're watching it after the fact, you know, drop a comment, even if it's just RIP, you know, 83, even if it's one of your favorite plays, even if it's you being excited about him in Madden, whatever it is, you know, just show it in your own way. And we're all together in showing our respect for Vincent Jackson. So, well, that's going to do it for me today, guys. Hang in there, everybody. I know it's tough. I'm going to take probably a day to process this as well. I'll probably do my video tomorrow that I was planning for today, and just kind of let this marinate a little bit. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Thanks for showing respect and paying respect to this legend of the San Diego Chargers, and hopefully his family gets through it as painlessly as possible. So anyway, guys, we'll see you guys next time. This is Burn Director. As always, bolt up and stay frosty. R.I.P. to a legend, Vincent Jackson, number 83. Action!